The Golden State Warriors have been considered as one of the greatest dynasties in NBA history. Led by Curry, Thompson, and Green, the Warriors have won 4 championships since 2015, but all of this nearly didn't happen. Back in 2009, we all know that the Warriors drafted Stephen Curry with the 7th overall pick. The Minnesota Timberwolves made the greatest decision in their franchise history by passing up on Curry and drafting the future Hall of Famer Johnny Flynn. However, all of this nearly didn't happen, as there was a trade in place that would have sent the 7th overall pick from the Warriors to the Suns, and the Suns would have taken Curry. In 2012, the Warriors would trade a promising player by the name of Monte Ellis in exchange for Andrew Bogut. Bogut would later on become a big piece with the Warriors, but it seemed like from the account of Bucks co-owner Mark Lassery, the Warriors nearly traded Curry to the Bucks instead of Monte Ellis. And the only reason why they chose Ellis is because the Bucks staff didn't trust Curry's ankle would hold up. But according to the general manager of the Warriors at the time, he only threw Curry's name into trade talks as a bait. The whole plan was always to trade Ellis. This is backed by Tim Kawakami's report, as he said that there was not a possible way for Curry to be traded to the Bucks as the money wouldn't work. Whichever side you believe in, at this time, Steph Curry was a very big question mark due to his ankle injuries. Steph is not the only player from the Big Three to be nearly traded, as his splash brother Klay Thompson also nearly got traded, this time to the Timberwolves. In 2014, there was discussions to send Klay Thompson to the Minnesota Timberwolves in exchange for Kevin Love. However, Jerry West threatened to quit from the organization if the Warriors made the trade. Just like with the Steph Curry to the Bucks trade, there are conflicting reports regarding this trade as well. Bob Myers said that the trade never had any life, but according to Michael Thompson, Klay Thompson's dad, Jerry West saved the Warriors dynasty, and Klay wouldn't have been a Warrior if it wasn't for Jerry West. The fact that at one point both Splash Brother was either nearly traded or was considered to be traded is just fascinating. What if one of those trades would have gone through? What would be the outlook of the Warriors franchise? To add to the Warriors' luck, they drafted future Hall of Famer, one of the greatest if not the greatest defensive player ever, and a known all-around good person, Draymond Green. They drafted Green with the 35th overall pick in the 2012 draft. Not a lot of second-round talent becomes an NBA starter, let alone a future Hall of Famer. The Warriors also hired Steve Kerr in 2014 to replace Mark Jackson. Yes, they replaced a coach that has been with the team for 3 years and led them to a 50-win season weeks before, with a coach that had no coaching experience, and luckily for them, as it has always been since 2014, it worked out. One of Kerr's best coaching decisions was to put Andre Iguodala to the bench. Yes, he moved a former All-Star, one of the biggest free agent signings in recent franchise history, to the bench. And speaking of Iguodala, the way he got to the Warriors is another stroke of luck.
Sacramento did offer them probably the most. Sacramento and Detroit. I was actually going to go with Dallas. Dallas was the spot. Like, I want to go play in Dallas. Dwight Howard decides to stall everybody with what he was going to do. So Dwight helped me.
So basically, if it wasn't for Dwight, Iguodala would have been a Maverick, not a Warrior. Even when they suffer a setback, it still works out in their favor, as in 2016 after giving an AVN-worthy performance by blowing a 3-1 lead to the Cavs. The Warriors would add Kevin Durant, another person that gave an AVN-worthy performance in 2016, to their team. There's a possibility that if the Warriors won the 2016 championship, Kevin would have never been a Warrior. And now here in 2025, their luck is still alive and well. Going into the 2024-2025 season, the Warriors had an underwhelming roster after losing Klay Thompson in free agency and missing out on stars like Lauri Markkanen and, get this, Paul George. Yes, Paul George. Again, the luck that these people have is insane. To start the season, they would be 12-3, and then after everything went wrong, they would be 25-25 heading into the trade deadline. But luckily, there's that word again. For them, a guy by the name of Jimmy Butler was available due to a spat with Heat management. However, it seemed like the Butler wanted to go to Phoenix and Phoenix wanted Jimmy. But luckily for the Warriors, the only way the Suns could trade for Butler is by trading Bradley Beal's contract, which had a no-trade clause. Not only Beal didn't want to leave Phoenix, but Miami also didn't want Beal and his amazing contract. So there was no other choice but for Jimmy Butler to be a Warrior. All thanks to a well-timed spat with Heat management and Bradley Beal's glorious contract, a once sinking ship now has turned into a possible fifth championship for the Warriors in the Curry era. And that right there is what you call luck.